This is Ask Todd on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. If you have an existing estate plan or are in the market for one, Todd Lutsky is here to answer your questions and help you plan for later life. Ask Todd is presented by Cushing & Dolan, serving Massachusetts and New England for more than 35 years, helping families with estate and tax planning, Medicaid planning, and probate law. Visit CushingDolan.com. Now, here's Todd Lutsky.
And Todd does now join us here on the Financial Exchange. The segment is Ask Todd. And so we've opened up the phone lines to allow you to ask Todd your questions about your estate plan. Phone number here is 888-205-2263. So get calling if you'd like to ask Todd a question about your estate plan or your lack of an estate plan. That phone number again, 888-205-2263. Again, we have limited space, so make sure you get all queued up. That number one last time is 888-205-2263 for your chance to ask Todd your estate planning questions live on air. Mr. Lutsky, how are you today?
Never better. How are you?
Had a strange situation over the weekend.
It's always something with you.
I was at a hotel.
Yeah?
They tried to charge me an extra $10 for air conditioning.
Yeah?
Wasn't cool.
No, that isn't cool.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Big problem.
Yeah.
Todd, I want to talk to you a little bit about beneficiary designations on retirement accounts. And the question that I have is, retirement accounts let you name beneficiaries directly.
Yes.
How does one go about coordinating that with an estate plan?
And this is really a spot-on question because, you know, one of the things we're giving away this month is how to leave assets to beneficiaries. And this is really this is an asset that is always tough to fit into your estate plan to begin with because it's a tax deferred account. It's an account where you will, every dollar that comes out has to be taxed when you take it out. So the important thing here is that you can't put those into trusts. If you do, you have to take them all out, pay big income tax, and then put it into the trust. So that's a horrible idea. So how do you mix the two? How do you blend them together? Well, most of the time, and all of you that have these qualified plans, please just dust them off and take a look at your designated beneficiary. If you have no estate plan, it's likely going to be a spouse as the primary. And if you have children, it would be children as the alternate. Well, that may or may not be the greatest idea. I would say 99 times out of 100, naming the spouse as the primary beneficiary is not a bad idea. Just from a tax standpoint, it allows the surviving spouse to roll over the IRA and take it out when that spouse reaches 73, which is the new required beginning date. We call it the RBD. And then it would come out over her or his life expectancy. So that is a good thing. It's that contingent beneficiary. It's that single person now if you've lost a spouse and have kids. What do you do with the IRA? Certainly you can name a beneficiary, just leave it to the kids. But if you've got a trust in place, how you get assets to your family is critical. What if I've got a large IRA and I also have other large assets in my trust that I've set up? And my trust is designed to protect assets from future creditors of the children, let's say divorces.
Sure.
Let's say any creditor. Let's say we want to also get it to the next generation, perhaps, by skipping taxation when the kids die, even though they can enjoy it, but have it end up passing down to another generation tax-free. These are all things that you're thinking about, and you did that in your trust. Well, if I've got this large IRA hanging around and I need a contingent beneficiary listed, I might not want it to say the kids. Because if it just says the kids, then it just goes to them, subject to their creditors, included in their estate, subject to their divorce. And it's got to come out over 10 years. The coming out over 10 years part isn't going to change no matter who we name. But you know what? If I've got an estate plan, I want to blend it in with my estate plan. I probably would add the beneficiary to be the trust as a contingent. That way, when it flows into the trust, still comes out over 10 years, so you don't have a negative income tax hit. But now it's sheltered, so those minimum distributions are going to come out and go in to that bucket, and they don't have to flow out to the kid. They can be sheltered for creditors, for taxes, generation skipping, etc. Can go out, but doesn't have to.
Talking with Todd Lutsky from the law firm of Cushing & Dolan. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask Todd about your estate plan, this is your chance right here. We still got a little bit of room on the phone lines. The studio number here is 888-205-2263. That's the number to call to ask Todd your questions. 888-205-2263. Again, still have some room on the phone lines if you want to ask Mr. Lutsky a question. 888-205-2263. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we are going to go to your questions with Todd. So make sure you get all queued up. That number one last time is 888-205-2263.
Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky every Wednesday at 10:30, only here on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. You're listening to Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky on the Financial Exchange Radio Network.
As promised, right to your calls with Todd Lutsky. First up, we got Paul from Western Massachusetts. Paul, what is your question for Todd Lutsky?
My question would be pertaining to an irrevocable trust.
Okay.
And potentially changing the beneficiaries. We had a trust set up with an estate attorney who at one point had said something to the effect that, the wording was written so that it could be adjusted. Since then, we no longer do business with that attorney, and I brought it to other attorneys who reviewed the documents and said there's really no way to change it.
Huh.
So do you know if, just in general, if that's true, or is there a way?
So the general rule is that it really all depends on how you draft it, right? I can tell you our rule. So when we do a trust, an irrevocable trust that is designed to protect assets from the nursing home, and can I ask you, was this one designed that way? Was the goal to protect nursing homes?
Yes.
Okay.
This was early on before we really had a good handle on it on our end, and so this was the recommendation to protect the assets from nursing home. So,
okay.
And this is a 10-year-old document now, so it's
10 years old shouldn't matter. So,
okay.
I would tell you that the reason I asked the question is I do different kinds of irrevocable trust for like lifetime giving, spousal lifetime access trust. These are all irrevocable, but they're designed to get assets out of the estate. And typically those trusts, the answer is no, you can't change the beneficiaries so readily. However, these Medicaid trusts that are designed to protect assets from the nursing home, every single one we do, we put, unless the client doesn't want it in there, we put a language in called a limited special power of appointment, which simply grants the donor the power to appoint, whether in equal or unequal amounts, to a class consisting of, and it lists children of all generations or descendants issues, something like that. So look for language in your trust that allows the donor the limited special power to appoint equally or unequally among a group of people. And it'll usually say, in mine, it says, as appointed through their will. So they'll go through the will and they'll make a change. So in my trust, the answer is yes, you should be able to change those trusts. So at Cushing & Dolan, we know that we're going to have that trust with that power in there. But again, you can't add Cousin Vinny. If it says equally to kids and you want to add, a grandchild or a great-grandchild or a child, fine, that's a class. But you can't bring in Cousin Vinny because he's not in the class when you set it up. But generally, you can make those kinds of changes. So hopefully that helps you. And folks, I think that is a great question when it comes to the guide we're giving away, right? How you leave assets to your children or to your family in general. So critical, right? And flexibility, right? We want to leave it to them, but we might want to change our mind later. Some life event might come up. and we need to reconsider how we leave assets, perhaps like with Paul's situation. You should be able to do that. And this guide tells you how to do that. It tells you how you can leave it to protect it from divorces. What if you've got a second marriage? What if you've got grandchildren issues that you want to skip a generation to? There's so many ways to leave your assets to your kids. Trusts do more for you sometimes after you're gone than when you're living. And so all of you folks that have done your planning, get the guide, learn how you might want to update your plan. And for all of those who haven't done the planning, this is really going to help you get educated to kick off doing your planning. You'll come in with a little more knowledge and ideas when you meet with your lawyer. 866-848-5699 or legalexchangeshow.com. You can download it right there. Again, how to leave assets to beneficiaries. 866-848-5699 or legalexchangeshow.com.
Todd, I got another one all lined up for you. Let's go to Bob in Uptown. Bob, you are on with Todd Lutsky.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I've got 3 rental properties, and right now they're all in my name, and I'd like to start thinking about leaving them to my kids, and I'm thinking about a revocable trust with me as the trustee to make sure that they are, in fact, going to get this, avoiding probate. Get these 3 properties.
Are you married?
Yes.
And you have other assets like your home and other, money and whatnot. So, 3 rental properties gives you an idea of what the size of the estate is. I don't know if you're tipping the scales of the $2 million Massachusetts exemption or not. Is that over that, under that?
It's probably over.
I would think so. And so if that's the case, obviously how we get them to your children is important, not only because how we want them to receive it, but from an estate tax standpoint. And as you said, a probate standpoint. So planning with your spouse, I would say you can certainly do a revocable trust if you like. And probably with the size of your estate, you could get away with what we call one trust. So you put all the assets in one trust, and then that trust will shelter assets from probate, keep both of you in control, and allow those assets to get to your family in a manner that you want them to get there, while at the same time, not just reducing, but if you're under $4 million, eliminating your Massachusetts estate tax. So that would be the goals. Now, I'm going to add one more thing. Anybody that's got 3 rental properties, I would be concerned about slip and falls, creditor issues, things like that, right? And so I wouldn't want someone to sue me personally and go after all my assets if, in fact, I can have it sue the company. So I would suggest setting up a limited liability company. I don't know if you need 3. Maybe you can learn what the size of the assets are, but even if you set up 2. But if you can tolerate 3, put 3 on. And that way, when you throw the properties in the LLC, you still run them, you still manage them, you still collect the income, you still pay the bills. And you put the shares of the LLC into that joint trust. And then as a single member LLC, which is what it would be, there's no separate income tax return that you need to file for that LLC. So maintenance is easy. There's no administrative headache. But now, if someone gets hurt on one of those properties, they can only sue that particular company and not you personally. Much better, I think, than just leaving them sit out there. So good question. And yes, lots of planning is in your future. I think you can absolutely accomplish all of those goals and learn how to leave these assets to your family. So planning is key when it comes to getting your assets there efficiently and tax-free.
Mr. Lutsky, thank you so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
This has been Ask Todd on the Financial Exchange Radio Network. Ask Todd with Todd Lutsky has been presented by Cushing & Dolan, serving Massachusetts and New England for more than 30 years, helping families with estate and tax planning, Medicaid planning, and probate law. Call 800-393-4001 or visit CushingDolan.com. The views expressed in this segment are solely those of Cushing & Dolan. Armstrong Advisory does not provide any legal or tax advice. Please consult with your legal or tax advisor on such matters. Cushing & Armstrong do not endorse each other and are not affiliated.